What's up guys, Callum here, and today I'm going to talk to you about the breakthrough morning ritual with no crash, which is cold brew tea. So if you're someone who maybe has a love-hate relationship with coffee, or maybe you want something really cool to do in the morning that's going to support you, that's going to give you amazing, just sustainable energy, focus, mental clarity, then this video is for you. So I've been drinking cold brew tea every single morning for the past 3 years, and it's totally transformed the way that I wake up, my energy levels throughout the day. I think it's one of the best things I do for my health, and it's one of the most enjoyable things that I look forward to so much in the morning. It's so beautiful, and literally almost no one is doing this. I've only seen this commercially available, I think, twice in my life, whereas cold brew coffee obviously is extremely popular. I think that cold brew tea is like the next big thing that is a really good business opportunity, but in the meantime, it's something that you can do at your home that's gonna make you feel super good. So in this video, I'm gonna go down and break down what cold brew tea is, why it's so good for you, why you should be drinking it, how to make it, and all the amazing benefits there. So the first question that comes up is, what is cold brew tea, other than a fancy buzzword? Well, if you're watching this video, you've probably heard of cold brew coffee before. And that's because in the past 5 to 10 years, cold brew coffee has become super popular, super mainstream, everyone's drinking it. And I myself started drinking cold brew coffee, I think 6 or 7 years ago. And I had actually never drank coffee before that because I wasn't really attracted to it. But with cold brew coffee, I liked the idea that it was lower in acidity, that it was a very gentle extraction process, that it had a really good flavor and smelled really good and was just really nice. But throughout the years, I kind of had a love-hate relationship with coffee, where I felt like cold brew coffee served me like 1 or 2 out of 10 times. So 1 or 2 times I would be feeling super good and super happy and excited about life and just really stoked. And then the other 8 or 9 times I would just be up and down, like super fast. And I really just didn't feel like it was overall serving me that well. On the other hand, you have cold brew tea. And cold brew tea serves me every single time. I've never had a bad experience on it. It literally just gives me that sustainable energy. I've never had a crash from it. And that's why I've completely switched over and stopped drinking coffee. And so cold brew tea is very similar in the way that you make it to cold brew coffee. You basically put it in high quality water in the fridge overnight. It's a slow extraction process. Instead of using hop water, which is really intense, it's a more gentle way of extracting it. It brings out really good flavor. It brings out the caffeine. It brings out all the health benefits from it. And it's just extremely easy to do. And the reason why there's no crash when you have cold brew tea is that inside of tea, there's so many different teas that we could be talking about, but with most of them, there's a bunch of different compounds there that really give a very balancing effect. So it's not just super high in caffeine, so you just go up and down. Oftentimes there's other compounds in there that balance it, that give you a very sustainable energy without the crash. As well with tea, there's also other compounds in there aside from caffeine that add to mental focus, clarity, and just a very sharpness of mind. And a great example is yerba mate. So yerba mate is high in caffeine. It does wake you up. It does make you feel really good. But a lot of people note, and it's well studied, that yerba mate also gives you really good focus, mental clarity, and it kind of brings your mind together, which is a really, really nice thing to have in the morning. So now that we've covered what cold brew tea is, what are the benefits of cold brew tea? Why should you be drinking this? Why is this such an amazing practice? So the first thing is the energy. It's the most obvious one. It makes you feel really good. It wakes you up in the morning. It gives you mental focus, clarity. It gives you a lot of just excitement, and it's a really great way to start your day. The second benefit is that when I do this, I drink this in a 32-ounce mason jar. So I drink 32 ounces of it, and I squeeze a whole lemon in there. Now, lemons are really amazing because they are astringent. So it pulls on the lymphatic system, it helps flush and detox. And when you wake up in the morning, a lot of times when you feel kind of groggy or a little bit out of it, it's usually because your body's been detoxing all night, and it's important to flush that in the morning. So you can drink water, and an even better way is to drink water with lemon squeezed in it, because it wakes you up from the inside out and it helps kind of pull and flush everything, which tightens everything and makes you feel really awake and alert. The third benefit is that I'm consuming really high quality water. So depending on what you have, one of the easiest things and what I do is I put reverse osmosis water in there. And so I have a 5-gallon jug. Just about every grocery store in the United States these days has a reverse osmosis dispenser if you don't have one at your apartment or house. And it's super cheap, so I fill that up. You can also use spring water, alkaline water, whatever kind of water you want, but make sure you're not using tap water. So I'll use the RO water. I'll put the herbs in there, and what's happening is that the herbs are structuring the water, which you guys may have heard of before, but plants and herbs have this amazing benefit when they're soaked in water that it structures with water. It, as well as the lemon, it makes it very easy to absorb into your body, very flushing, very cleansing, very hydrating. So when you knock back the 32 ounces, you're getting super hydrated, super flushed. It's really just an amazing, amazing way to wake up in the morning. And so probably the biggest benefit of cold brew tea is that you're in charge and you're curating the herbs that you're using as tea. And like I said, it's not like you're just having coffee. You're choosing all of these beautiful herbs that can have medicinal properties, that don't even necessarily have caffeine, that can give you energy benefits in different ways. So what I do is I typically will buy them on Amazon, and I buy them in bulk, and I buy loose tea. So I buy loose tea over tea bags because I think that loose tea tends to be higher quality because you can really see what's going on there. Whereas I think with tea bags, it's oftentimes broken down more. I think it's a little lower quality. You can't really see what's going on there. And I think that it's just not as curated as the loose teas. So I'll buy loose teas, typically at least 1 pound because you get a better price. And I do get it on Amazon. And if you want to support a different company, go for that. But typically on Amazon, it's gonna be smaller businesses that are selling these teas on there. So it's kind of a give or take. Some of my favorite teas that I use, which I'll link below, are yerba mate. So yerba mate is great for caffeine, great for flushing the body, great for mental clarity. I'll often mix it with tulsi. That's my favorite thing, is yerba mate and tulsi combined. So tulsi is an incredible herb from India that's also known as holy basil. So it's actually an adaptogen and there's no caffeine in it. And an adaptogen is kind of a fancy buzzword, but basically it reduces stress in the body and it brings you back into a state of balance. And so, you know how sometimes when you're tired, it's not like you are tired because you really have to sleep, it's because you're tired because you're a little bit out of balance in your body and your energy levels are a little bit off. And when you drink an adaptogen like tulsi, what it can do is it can kind of bring your body back into a state of balance, which actually gives you energy even though there's no caffeine in it. And on top of that, it's antimicrobial, antibacterial, so it cleans your mouth. It's really good for suppressing sickness and for just cleaning the body and making you feel super good and strong. So tulsi is amazing. I'll also do guayusa, which is super low key, super not known about. It's a beautiful dark green herb from the Amazon rainforest, and it gives you really good mental clarity, really good energy. It's a powerhouse herb as well. You can also do hibiscus, there's black teas, there's green teas, the list goes on. And if you have any specific medical problems that you're dealing with or illnesses or just anything that you wanna gain on in your life, you can look up herbs that are gonna be helpful for that, and you can incorporate those herbs into your tea, even if they're not high in caffeine or anything. You can add it to a black tea or to yerba mate or whatever it is, and you're gonna be getting that medicinal benefit from it, and you're gonna really be able to notice it in the morning and experiment and find the herbs that you like the most. And so lastly, the practical nature of this, how do you make cold brew tea? It is super, super, super simple. So you literally just take a jar, you put your herbs in it, you put your reverse osmosis water in it, and you put it in the fridge overnight. Now, I typically do overnight because that's the easiest. You can just make it before you go to bed. In the morning, you can filter it. I've done as little as 3 hours. So if you don't have a lot of time, you can do as little as 3 hours. I find that tea extracts pretty quickly, but usually I'll do it overnight, and that's gonna be the extraction process. And in the morning, you filter it. So what I've been doing is I've been making mine typically in a French press. And I do that because when you have thicker herbs that are really easy to filter, you can just do one pass in the French press, pour it out, and it'll be filtered and good to go. When I do yerba mate, the mate I have is kind of finer, so I like to do the French press, and then I also pour it into a funnel that has a coffee filter in it, just to give it an extra filter pass so that it's not so there's no sediment in there. Basically, it filters it better. And then I'll also tend to make concentrate. So when I first started doing cold brew tea, I would make just enough to drink for that one morning session. I found now it's a lot easier to do a concentrate, so I'd basically just make it stronger. and then I pour a little bit into a jar and fill up the rest with water. And that's the thing, is like with cold brew tea, it's so easy. So if you make it too strong, you just dilute it. And I found if I make it strong, then I can have it for like 1 to 3 days and just dilute it in another jar to drink for that session. And then lastly, I always squeeze a whole lemon in there. I really recommend that. You can do limes as well, but I think that makes things taste so much better because, you know, yerba mate, for example, is kind of bitter. And so squeezing the lemon in there just makes it delicious, way easier to drink, and also has those health benefits that I've talked about. And so that's it. That's how you make cold brew tea. It's an incredible, beautiful morning ritual. It makes you feel super good. There's all these health benefits to it. It's super low key and not known about. And I think that it's a really good business opportunity also for anyone in the future that wants to do something with it, because cold brew coffee has done so well. And it's kind of shocking that, I mean, I've seen it a couple times, but basically no one is doing cold brew tea on a commercial level right now. So for any entrepreneurs there, it's maybe a good idea. And guys, I hope that this video was helpful to you. Comment below with thoughts, questions, just your ideas on this. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I make videos on meditation, minimalism, spirituality, and health, a bunch of different topics. So hit the subscribe button if you like this video, and I'll see you guys soon. Ciao.